Welcome to the Senior Moments podcast, brought to you by SCAN, the Senior Citizens Activities Network, and our friends at New Jersey Natural Gas, the Save Green Project, and Keller Williams Real Estate, Mark Viggiani. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mike Cevolino, Executive Director here at SCAN, joined each and every week by my fabulous co-host, the star of SCAN. Please welcome Andrea Tarr.
All right, poker face. Hi, everyone. You know, Mike, I'm telling you, you have so missed your calling.
Is it too late?
No, you
Never
need
too
to.
late.
He needs a radio show.
It's never too late.
Big time.
They want me anywhere else but here, so radio
Oh,
show would be good.
no. You need a radio show.
How you doing? We're getting every ounce of Andrea out of you.
It's true. My goal is just don't kill me. Just don't kill me.
All right, we'll stop short of that. But you've been literally everywhere.
I know.
We need to print up concert T-shirts, like with all the stops on the road.
It's true. I mean, it's good and bad. I love being out on the road because, I just love meeting all the people and, evangelizing SCAN. But, racking up the miles.
And now you guys, you and Mary Beth and Yvonne, have been hard at work pulling together.
Yeah.
Our 5th annual Senior Expo and Fashion Show will be next Friday right here at Monmouth Mall. You psyched about it?
Yes, because first of all, it's just one of our best events ever.
100%.
And the fashion show, awesome. It really is. Macy's does a good job outfitting everyone. We're squeezing every ounce out of Mary Beth just getting that done. We all get squeezed. It's part of the deal at SCAN.
We're like toothpaste tubes.
Really. And
You
Yvonne
can always find some more in there when you need
Yvonne
to.
is working on, she's doing a seating chart. It sounds like we're at a wedding.
Yeah.
But it all comes together beautifully. And it just does.
Well, as always, we're grateful for all of our sponsors who help make that happen.
Yes,
folks, SCAN is we're a nonprofit. We keep our classes, programs, and workshops either free or very low cost. And we do that intentionally so that all folks can join and be part of us. And one of the ways that we're able to do that, one of the most important ways, is by the amazing support of our sponsors. And so it's really a pleasure for Andrea and myself to be able to welcome in one of our newest sponsors. He's become a great friend of SCAN. He does great work in the community and generally a superhuman being. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Senior Moments podcast from Keller Williams Realty, Mark Viggiani.
It's great to be here. Thanks,
Good morning.
Michael and Andrea.
How are you?
Doing good.
All right, must tell you, Andrea and I are mesmerized by your tie to start with.
It's like a Monet painting.
I can't look away from
That's
it.
how I'm looking
Spring is here.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
And it matches your shirt nicely.
You're very.
I actually dressed myself today too.
Well done.
Good, great.
Well done, Mark.
Usually it's my wife, or I will, and then she'll go, no.
So how you doing?
That happens.
Good. Everything's going pretty good. Nice weather out today for now.
Beautiful. We don't know it here. We're in the basement, right? You're
Well, coming in.
Yes.
So
paint some the sun behind us.
there you go.
So why don't we start with just generally speaking, how's the real estate world out there? What are you seeing out there generally? Nobody can find houses, it seems, and what's it like, and what do you think's going to happen?
Are there still bidding wars happening on houses?
It has calmed down with the bidding wars, but it is still a big, huge supply issue. We don't have a lot of houses out there for the buyers to buy. And the buyers are there. Part of the issue is the interest rates.
Because they're creeping up again?
Yes, but that's really on the seller side, because somebody who is selling, if there's still equity in their home and they're going to buy something else,
right?
Everybody a year ago refinanced to 2.9%.
Right.
And now they've got to double that mortgage payment, even though some of them, that was their initial mortgage payment, what it is now, 5-6%.
Right.
So it's the reluctance of the sellers is, I think, the reason why we have the supply issue that we do.
Well, because they know that if they sell, now
where are you going to go?
They have to go somewhere else.
Where are you going to go, and are you going to spend more and get less of what you just left?
Right.
Which is probably the case, right? Unless you move away somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, that explains why there's less houses.
Less houses.
For sure.
And the adult communities in general, the newer ones, they're starting at 700,000 and going over $1 million.
Oh my goodness! How
that
do people
doesn't feel like
afford that?
Like you're downsizing.
No.
At those prices.
Yeah, I had a client. We I sold her house in Howell. She was under contract for Toll Brothers adult community, and cost more than what we got for her house. And her house was on an acre, 3 times the size. It's just, but that's the only new construction that really is moving. That in townhouses.
Now, does this remind you at all of the 2007-8 thing where there was a crash, real estate crash then? The bubble burst, as they say back then.
Well, back then I wasn't in the real estate business yet, but that did do a lot of for the market. It also did a lot for the renovation people. People just didn't have the equity to do the projects or buy the things they wanted to buy.
Right.
Right now, it is a little different. And I don't think we're going to see that crash and a whole bunch of foreclosures and bank takeovers because of what happened back then. Mortgages have been vetted very much more strictly. Mm-hmm. So unless it's
a good thing.
Unless it's loss of a job, you're pretty safe in your home now.
Okay. Now, we'll talk about you getting into the real estate business in your previous life. But you specialize, as you mentioned to us off air, in a lot of senior real estate. Mm-hmm. So what are you seeing there trend-wise? What do you see folks doing? What are some of the things seniors are concerned about real estate-wise right now?
Well, what we just talked about, getting value out of their home.
Should I keep asking the same question again?
Purchasing. No, well, I mean, it is the common thread that's out there. The other thing with the seniors is it's some of them need to downsize or go into a different type of living arrangement because they just can't. I mean, it's not a matter of living alone, but it's maintaining what they have. Mm-hmm. It's either expensive or so labor intensive that it's out of their, it's just too much for them to handle.
Can I say, what really surprised me when we talk about downsizing? So some of these new adult communities, the homes are huge.
Yes.
And it doesn't feel like wow, that's not a downsize.
No, it's not a downsize.
I see 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2-car garages, basements.
You want less space, don't you?
That's kind of what I thought. So I really am surprised that is out there as well.
Well, one of the reasons is the need is for families moving in together.
Well, okay, there we go. Adult children coming back.
Adult children coming back.
Yeah.
You may have to take care, watch grandkids while the parents are working. The main thing that most seniors want in their new housing, the main thing is obviously the master primary bedroom and bathroom on the first floor,
right,
and everything as accessible as possible.
Less stairs.
Stairs. And if there are stairs, they don't need to have to go up there. That's for whoever is staying with them.
Mm-hmm. Great. Yeah. I mean, I moved, right in the middle of the pandemic because, of course, I did.
Good timing.
Good timing. Well, it just worked out that way. But from working at SCAN, all these things that I learned about aging in place, and I took that to heart when I, was picking out where I wanted to be on one level. They have wide openings of doorways and whatnot. It's very interesting. I looked at housing from a SCAN perspective. I wasn't looking anymore just from Andrea. I was thinking about all the things that I had learned. And, but smaller, less space. Right. So I know that I can take care of it on my own. I don't have a tremendous place.
Right.
But I have everything I want. And I have not a single stair.
There you go.
Which is great. That is key.
Absolutely.
I went from, having a lot of stairs. So aging in place, when you are moving to another community, you do want to have an eye for that.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
I even took out my bathtub.
Put a shower.
In a shower. Oh, it got.
That's in the back as a planter.
Yeah. They're great as planters.
It's a big planter. Big planter.
Or you could put a bunch of alcohol in it and with ice.
I'll bring it to SCAN.
Mark and I'll come by.
There you go.
Oh, it's 2 straws.
Oh,
yeah.
Make a still filled with potatoes.
A still. That's right.
I didn't even think of that.
There you go.
These ideas are all on Mark's blog.
Now we're drifting.
By the way, what to do with your bathtub. So folks are living longer. So I'm sure you're seeing, more folks 50 and older coming into with various reasons and needs. Maybe they're divorced later in life or a spouse has passed away.
Right.
Do you see a lot of that? And how do you work with those kind of folks?
I do see a lot of that. Unfortunately, what happens a lot if a spouse passes, and even in a divorce situation, you don't know a lot of things about the residential situation
That they're coming from?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And able to, sell say they're looking to sell their property. If a spouse passes, the surviving spouse may not remember that there was a loan taken out on the house.
That's a good point.
That could have been it could have even been paid off, but not recorded. That would hold up, getting the house sold at closing because it's got to get cleared up. They might not be aware of there was an oil tank filled with sand in the backyard.
Oh, gosh.
And, then that's got to get addressed when it's found. They might not remember the fact that the neighbor's fence is a foot on their property.
So how does all of that come to light? Is that happening at the closing?
That's the worst place for it to happen.
That is the worst.
But it has happened.
Yeah.
I take a very proactive approach in just about everything I do. I don't like surprises. So I encourage the people I'm working with to find these things out ahead of time.
Oh, well, see, that's being a proactive realtor.
Yeah. A lot of what I just mentioned comes up when there's what's called a title search. And mostly the title search is, it's done on the buy side. Mortgage company wants to make sure the house doesn't have anything crazy on it. And the new owners want to make sure there's nothing attached to the house that they're not aware of. And
so the buyer's doing that.
The buyers, that's the norm. There's also a fee involved with that. So attorneys, although it's getting better, would not order title till the very last minute, like 2 weeks before closing.
Yeah.
And then we find this stuff out.
Then you get hit with all the,
I would encourage if it's an estate sale, if there's a surviving parent or a parent that just needs to go into another living arrangements and somebody else is taking care of this stuff, it's worth the investment to do the title search yourself ahead of time.
I think we should talk about Mark's background.
Yes.
Because I feel like your background gives you a unique perspective on being a realtor, because you're going to see things based on your background that other realtors may. Like if I was a realtor, I would never know some of this stuff. But let's share what did you do before you became a realtor?
Before I became a realtor, I'm still a licensed master plumber.
Okay.
And up until 2013, I ran the family plumbing business and took it over and up in Hudson County for about 30 years. We did construction.
A lot of faucets up there in Hudson County.
Yeah. Renovation work, new construction. So I know my way around buildings and structures.
So that seems like a hand glove fit then to go into.
Yeah, it does.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, I can give advice on making a house that's perfect, except maybe needs to be accessible more, and point out what can and can't be done. There's things I see that, other people don't, like, oh, wow, this is really newly renovated. It's nice and shiny. If I see some flaws that other people don't see, my red flag goes up saying, okay, that's what I can see. What can't we see?
But that's the point, that you would share that with the buyers.
Absolutely.
I would think that would be a great thing to have a realtor
100%.
who knows
You
that.
probably even know what to look for.
Yeah.
Maybe a few points you want to check right away. Maybe common.
Right.
What are some common problems that you might find that folks wouldn't even think about looking for?
Well, I got to tell you,
like mold, would that be one of them? Or
a lot of people who are buying, for the most part, do a lot of self-education.
Okay.
Sometimes a little too much.
Or not enough.
Which happens. But in the buying process also, the buyer is going to bring in a home inspector. And the home inspector is a generalist that gives information on the house and is a defect finder.
Okay.
That's what he does.
And they always find something.
Well, yeah, and it's usually,
Yeah.
there's always something.
Mm-hmm.
I've come across home inspectors. There's good and bad all the way out there. Some inspectors are alarmists and actually can scare the buyer out of something that may not be necessary. When the buyer is there with the home inspector, and I always encourage my buyers to be there because he or she's going to teach them about the home. And I tell them, when you see it in a report in writing, it looks much more severe than what he told you
It's
while
like
you're
the
here.
notes you get from your doctor.
Yeah,
Kind of the same
exactly.
thing.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So, so the home, but again, preemptively, yes, I could see if there's something in the basement before we even go and do the purchase. I mean, I had somebody purchase a home with a very severe structural crack in the foundation.
Goodness.
I didn't talk them out of buying the house because they loved the house. It was the perfect house for them. And I suggested, I said, if you really love this house, I don't see anything else. It would be on your dime.
You could fix it. I guess.
Bring a structural engineer in.
Okay.
And I'm sure you have all those resources.
I have all those resources. And, if the structural engineer declares that this is a serious issue, the seller's got two choices. Kill the deal,
Right.
but now they have to disclose that to any new buyer that comes up. Or
Fix it.
Fix it. So,
Or sell it as is, and you'll have to
exactly.
take a significant, or at least a piece off.
So, that family's been in that house happily for about 6 years now. So,
Did they buy it with this issue and fix it themselves, or seller fixed it? Or?
the seller fixed it.
Okay.
But they actually used the engineer that brought in that acknowledged it and gave the estimate on the type of repair.
Okay. So let me ask you this. What towns, if that's even the case, do you specialize in, or areas? Or anywhere you can go?
I can go anywhere. I'm licensed throughout the entire state. I have access to the real estate listing MLSs from Ocean County, as far north as Essex County. I guess Essex County, and to the left of the Water Gap. That covers 3 different MLSs.
That's a big area.
I don't market myself all over the place because I'm not necessarily looking for business out that way. But I've had people who know me wanting me to help them with real estate tell me that's where they want to go. So because this is full time, I'm able to take the time and do that. And if for some reason I know I'm not going to be able to service my client the right way, I do have a really good network of other real estate professionals actually throughout the world, not just the country or state.
You're listening to the Senior Moments podcast, brought to you by Scan and our sponsor, Keller Williams Real Estate and New Jersey Natural Gas. We're talking today with the CEO of Keller Williams, Mark Viggiani. So I think I threw a little cold water on Andrea's last question. She was asking you about your previous career. I think the follow-up that we should have asked is, how did that segue into real estate now? What made you...
Gotcha.
Why did you go from A to B?
Quality of life. The business was up in Hudson County, and I was not home a lot. And
that's a grind, that job. You're constantly on the job.
On the job, even if I'm not doing the work, the supervision and
then the billing and everything, the paperwork.
Yep. So it got to a point where I found I couldn't manage the physical aspect with employees to my standards. So made a decision that if at a certain point I wasn't happy with my life, that I'm going to wind it down, and blessed that I was successful enough to be able to wind it down, but still got to work.
Exactly.
Couldn't retire yet.
Exactly.
So real estate is something I've always been involved with. We bought, sold, and renovated buildings and whatnot in the family. And I thought, I'll get my real estate license. It'll be in my back pocket, and I'll find something else. Different business opportunities, different employment opportunities, all running around, and nothing was anything I was passionate about. And just between 2 emails, 2 phone calls, and somebody mentioning something, the light went off in my head and said, you know what? Real estate's going to be my business.
It feels like a natural progression
It's the
from
way
what you were doing.
You know houses inside and out.
And it's all customer service. It's knowing what the client needs and facilitating for them. I mean, plumbing and heating is the same thing. If somebody would call me in for a job, I would take care of what was needed, not look for something else. But if I saw something that was that important, I would definitely point it out to them or say proactively, listen, your water heater's got about 5, maybe 2 years left.
5 minutes, yeah.
You want to start socking away for it that way. So it's never about really the job itself. It's about what the people need done.
Gotcha.
Satisfying the customer.
Yeah.
Right.
So now that you've been a realtor for a while, so what are some surprises that you've realized, like, oh, being a realtor, I thought it would be this way, and oh, this is what's happening?
It's never the same. Like every week, every month, every year, it just evolves and is always different.
That's I look at that as kind of a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always learning something new. I also have no problem sharing what I do know with not even people within the company that I'm part of, but I've got good relationships with other realtors outside the company.
It's just your nature too. I mean, what we are, so fortunate to meet you through the chamber. You're just that kind of.
Oh, thank you.
Shout out to the Monmouth
Regional Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, hard to say that.
But it is surprising coming across something new on a transaction and helping somebody out. Again, that's the benefit of being full-time, that I'm constantly doing different types of, dealing with different types of real estate, not knowing going into it and then finding out about it. So it's a learning process. And, what I really like about it, again, it is a people business. I mean, I tell people I don't buy and sell homes. I help you achieve whatever you need to do. And if there's real estate involved, I'm taking care of that part. And I keep in mind what your end goal is, because the end goal is never to just buy or sell something. It's why you're buying or selling it.
Right.
And, what surprises me is how many of my clients are not clients anymore, just really good friends. And the relationships I've developed within the industry and the other service providers that we deal with. It's just, it's a great business.
That's a testament to you though, Mark. So I imagine then with what you just told us, the first thing you're doing is asking folks a lot of questions about why they're buying or why they're selling or why they want to be somewhere.
Right.
Kind of find out what their hopes are.
Yeah.
And then you try to tailor a strategy.
I want to know, why are we doing this? What's the need? And then I ask them what their expectations are in the process. So this way I can cater how I handle working with them to not throw as many curveballs at them as possible, because they're going to show up anyway.
I think sometimes, as someone who recently bought, in my mind, I said, this is, these are my check boxes. But a good realtor is asking a lot of questions.
Sure.
Help you consider those check boxes?
Yes. And like, really, maybe you ought to think about some other things.
Right.
So I feel like, again, because you have an interesting background in knowing about houses, and I was fortunate because my realtor had also had a builder's background.
Gotcha.
And places that, you go in, you're looking at something, oh, shiny, beautiful, but they see things totally different.
Yes.
I guess we as a buyer we don't want to see those things, right? We want to see what I love this.
Yeah.
Like you're ruining my dream. What do you mean there's a tree going through the roof? I don't know, crazy stuff, but
cracking the foundation.
Yeah, little things like that. But I think that's being a very good realtor.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've had to tell people this is not the best thing for you.
Exactly.
But I said, listen, I want you to buy a house. I want to be the person that helps you buy a house, but it's got to be the house for you.
It's got to be right. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You know, and sometimes I guess you walk in and as the buyer say, this is it, this is the one. And then you might say, no, this is not the one for these particular reasons. So you move on, you press on, because the one is going to be out there.
It'll be, and I sort of have a little skill, I guess. If I'm working with a couple for quite some time, or a single person, whatever, and we've seen a lot of houses, I know it's the one when they walk into the front door.
By their reaction, or just everything you know now,
both
put together.
But and their reaction, you could just tell. I mean, there's no poker face there.
Right.
And I agree with you. I really do, because I don't know. It's like something clicked. You walk in and this is it. This is the one.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of a hokey question, but I ask it because it's meaningful. It's, do you see yourself living in this house?
Yes. Do you see yourself cooking in this kitchen?
Yeah.
Right. That's the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Yeah.
So if you're a buyer in today's market, you know, we just talked about some of the hurdles. Interest rates are high, not a lot of inventory. What are some of the, say, top 3 or 4 or 5 things folks can do? I know, you know, we want to buy something. Mm-hmm. What should they put in place in order to do that?
Well, right away, find out what you're qualified for your mortgage.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, yeah.
And it's, you know, it's the mortgage amount as well as the monthly payment, because after that payment, you still have to eat, turn on the lights, and everything else.
Oh, that.
So just because you're qualified for $700,000 doesn't mean you could live in a $700,000 house.
Right.
You still have to live.
Right.
So that's always the first thing I tell, because, you know, I don't want to show things and have them disappointed to find out that they can't do it. And on the flip side, there's some people who are like, oh, I didn't know I could do this. I can afford this. This is a lot nicer than I thought.
Is that something you can do yourself as the buyer? Can you find out what you qualify for? Or is that something that you need help with?
No, buyer, you need to go to a qualified mortgage professional.
Okay.
Yeah. DIY in real estate really comes out well. You know, you could go online and search, and you could do Rocket Mortgage, you know, pump up a number and tell you what your credit score is.
But that's not real, though, is it? Is it, or it's not?
Well, it actually is a legitimate company, but
no, I know, but I mean the number you get,
not till you're fully vetted.
Okay,
and that's what we tell them up. And in the past, the fully vettingness wouldn't even happen till after. You would just get a letter saying you're approved based on telling them how much you made, what your credit score was, and whatnot. So we would have a lot of deals fall apart that way. Mm-hmm. Most good mortgage professionals now will do like 90% of the vetting up front before there's even a house that people are looking at. When a buyer's agent comes to me and submits an offer, and I look at the letter from the mortgage company, I will call that mortgage person and just say, you know, what did you do to put this together? Mm-hmm.
So that's legitimate in your mind.
Yeah.
So that's step 1. Go get yourself pre-qualified for and find out what you can afford. Not only the big price, but day to day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that makes sense. That really should be then what? After you know what you can afford now.
You know what you can afford, then you have to look at, well, the checklist I tell my clients to do is your absolute must-haves, your absolute must-not-haves, and
that's true too.
What you'd like to have and what you could tolerate.
Okay, great.
You know, because if these are the musts have and not haves, we're not going to waste our time if it has, you know, if that parameter isn't there. Sometimes as we're looking at houses, those things do change.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They'll see a house and now my must list.
Yes.
Is modified.
I could totally get that. Yeah.
And then there's some houses that may not have the must-have now, but it's doable.
Right. There's the potential.
So if you have a big yard, maybe a pool could be in the future, or a patio.
Even structurally, you know, you need an extra bedroom, but there's an office space in the house that's got a door, a window, but no closet. Well, if you don't need an office, you can use that as a bedroom. It doesn't count as a bedroom, but again, the ability to have it is still there.
I feel like you have to help people see the potential.
So,
Not everyone can visualize that it could be a bedroom, it could be an office.
Yes.
You could change out the kitchen cabinets. If the bones are there,
Yep.
Right.
you have to really.
It's a good real estate word.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
That's very good.
you have to really help them see the vision.
And that's why I buy into what they need to do and
Yeah.
why they're doing it. So
Yeah.
I know what I need to look for them.
Great. So where can folks find out more about you and get in touch with you and start living their dream of their
Living
next
their
home
dream.
or selling it?
Yes, because we need more houses out there.
Yes, sell your
house. What
so
are you
that Andrea
waiting
and I
for?
could buy one.
You can contact me directly on my phone, 732-569-7305.
Oh, that's
Feel
great.
free to give out their website too.
And my website is my name, Viggiani, followed by the words realestate.com.
Viggiani, realestate.com. Mark, I'm going to let Andrea ask this question actually.
Wait,
Go ahead.
Here comes my lack of poker face. So we're making a movie about the famous Mark. Who's going to play you?
Stanley Tucci.
That's fantastic.
Wow. All right. You know what I was going to say? I was thinking about Robert Duvall.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
I like that.
Either one, excellent choice.
Stanley Tucci's great, and they
Look how he didn't even have to really think about it.
they'll cast you in the Rome show, so you can go there and eat your way through the
Yes.
city.
There
yes,
you go. Yep.
Yes.
Well, Mark, thank you so much for being on the show. We greatly
Thanks for having me.
appreciate it.
We can't wait for the movie.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah, we'll be in the front row with the popcorn.
I'll make sure you guys are at the opening.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Senior Moments Podcast. Our guest has been Mark Viggiani from Keller Williams Real Estate.
Sell your house.
Sell your dang house. Thanks to Keller Williams. Thanks to New Jersey Natural Gas and Save Green. Thanks to Connor and everyone at a Shared Universe podcast studio. Andrea, till next time.
Till next time. Till about 5 minutes from now.
Till 5 minutes from now, I'll see you on the Senior Moments Podcast.
Yep.
And thank you for having me.
Have a great
You're
week,
welcome.
everyone.